Hi, we'd always talk about love. Love is a word that is easily heard all over town, right? And the Bible is very clear that the two greatest commandments are loving God with all our heart and all our mind and all our soul and all our strength, which gives no room for anything but all, not just a little bit, but everything. And how often are we loving God with that kind of a heartbeat, with our whole heart beats for things of God? And that we are led in every area of our life for God. And the second greatest commandment is to love one another as ourselves. The standard there is ourselves. It's are we able to love with that? And there's another condition that God puts for loving one another is loving one another as God loved us. How did God love us? Like, even no matter how rebellious we are to Him, He has loved us with an everlasting love. He loves us whether we choose Him or not choose Him. And of course, the consequences of our choices is something totally different. That's not the story here. That's not something that God is inflicting punishment, but rather the consequences of our choices. However, we love as God loved us. And that isn't easy at all. That isn't easy at all. But it's an area because it's not easy, we just kind of uh, push it aside just a little bit and then a little bit further and a little bit further. And to the point that we live our lives, even among with other Christians, where we treat ourselves, me, my own, higher than we treat the other person. We'll treat my family in an exclusive manner and treat the others outside of your family in a separate manner. But is that biblical? Is that biblical? It's a question I'm asking. I mean, I have come from a non Christian background, and so my family rejected me. They don't understand my choices and how I have followed God's leading to leave my career, leave a high paying job, not only live in that, but to come and serve Him, to be that vessel of love to other people. And that also living by faith, not knowing where my next penny will come from. People have ridiculed me for taking money, but I don't ask money. It's how God leads people to give that money to help fund the work that I do. I'm being a friend, especially to Christians, to draw people closer to God. That's the main area. But even in this, there have been people who have ridiculed me for not being independent and for not working. But I am working, not in the way that the world will perceive work to be. So, but also because of that, I have been alone, like away from my friends, away from my like minded people, because I grew up in the West. And here I see people celebrating things together as family. They may bring me a plate, but I'm never invited in. So I'm always getting the perks of what they're having, but not included. And I have always wondered about this, like especially recently I saw some posts and it always says that if you can't treat others in the way that you will treat your family, is that love? And that is what led me to speak about this today. Otherwise, I wouldn't have actually brought this up. But I felt that God wanted me to speak about it. And it's actually how often are we dehumanizing people in the way we love ourselves and the way we love others, and the way we love who belongs to us and the way we love others. When for God, family is defined as not our biological family, but those who hear God's word and put it into practice, those who hear God's word and obey God's will. That is who Jesus defines as family. And our whole concept here often becomes based on family and loving our family first, and then giving over the leftovers to people around, but never being inclusive. Very rarely. I mean, I did have one missionary family who just included me as their home, and I was able to just go in and come anytime I felt like it. And there was a British family, and I really missed them because that was the time I had a sense of belonging, that I belonged to a family. And then things change, of course, when they go back, it's not the same. But It's actually a call today of asking us, are we indeed loving one another that God has placed on our path as ourselves? Are we using them for what we need, or are we actually taking care of their needs? And I find that a lot of ministries do this. They will use your talents, they will take you use of your gifts, but do they actually care for you as an individual? Likewise, do we do that as well? Are we caring for the individual, or are we looking out for what we can get from them and how we can benefit, even if it's for God's kingdom? And this is something that a challenge I leave you today. And my next video or my next blog post will be about the concept of family in a deeper way of from a biblical perspective. And sometimes I believe that speaking it gives a better way of expressing it than in writing. It can come misconstrued to be nasty or ridiculous, whereas I'm only meaning it with the best of my heart. Leave this food for thought for you today. Until next time, see you later. God bless you.